Oldham Chronicle, Thursday, January the 11th, 2001. Ex-crook's religious conversion. Preacher wants to share his experiences. By Karen Fraser. Converted, David Clark. It has all the ingredients of a Hollywood blockbuster. Crime, violence, drugs and a stretching Borstal. But the story of former crook turned preacher David Clark is all too real. Dave, 51, who grew up in Oldham, has released his autobiography, Converted on LSD Trip, which charts his life of violence and drug dealing and sudden conversion to Christianity. And it tells of his battle to save the soul of his older brother Michael, whose mother insisted his name should be spelt this way, Michael, who is serving a 16-year sentence in the Philippines for promoting sex tourism. The pair were born in Oldham, where their aunt still lives. David Clark left brother Michael as youngsters, and they attended Clarksfield Infant School. They soon got into trouble and went off the rails when they moved down south. Their father had been in the army and mother in the Royal Air Force. David said, "We lived in my grandfather's home in Fleet Street, Clarksfield, but my father couldn't get a job in Oldham. We moved down south because my father had relatives in Watford. The children used to take the mickey out of our accents, and because we were smaller, we had to do things differently to get back at them." They soon got into trouble and went off the rails when they moved down south. Both were notorious in Buckinghamshire, where they lived in the 60s, and their exploits involved everything from stealing cars to drug taking. It started off with thieving, and then my brother got into wounding. I used to live off my brother's reputation, and I became bold knowing he was a villain. We did not care what we did to people. We would pick up girls and not care. They were jailed for malicious wounding after shooting a woman with an air pellet gun. But in 1970, the brothers' paths dramatically parted. Dave converted to Christianity after he found Jesus during a bad LSD trip, and the father of 5 is now involved with the Christian Gospel Church and teaches electronics at Fareham College near Portsmouth. Michael, who has a daughter, is now languishing in jail in the Philippines after he was arrested for arranging underage prostitutes for tourists. Michael has always denied the charge. Banding together, David Clark left with his former band, the Fowler Mean. David admits people are sceptical of his conversion, after which he confessed to 24 crimes. He escaped a prison sentence and gave information leading to the recovery of over £1,000 worth of stolen property, including a TV from an old people's home in Winslow. People thought I was pulling a prank to get off being sent to prison. They put it down to LSD, but I'm telling them Jesus did speak to me, Dave says. I've gone off the rails since, but I have now got motivation for living. I'm certain had I not become a Christian, I would have been dead by now. Michael has also converted to Christianity and was baptised in an old oil drum in New Bilibid prison in the Philippines. Dave hopes his experience will help others, and he gives talks about his life. I know lots of Christian parents whose children have got into drugs. I know what they're going through and what drugs can do. I would advise the parents to get my book and let them read it and then contact me. David's aunt, who does not want to be named, was sent a copy of the book. The 81-year-old said from her Oldham home, "I deliberately read it all, and I felt that it could be dangerous for himself and for his children. He has a son who is studying at university in Manchester. If someone got hold of the book, it could be interpreted very differently from what he intended." She asked him to take out some names, which he did. She added, "It's also unfair on his brother, as David has not been whiter than white. He dabbled with drugs when he was young, and I know his brother was upset about the book. David is still very unstable and tends to have ups and downs. You may contact their website for further information, trojanhorseinternational.com, and convertedonlsd.com.